Good evening, everyone. Today is January the 16th, 2024. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for yet another opportunity of prayer. Thank you, God, for waking us up this morning, allowing us to see yet another day, oh God. We thank you, God, for our family, our friends, our loved ones as well. And, oh God, we just ask you that you will really prove yourself strong. Ask you, God, that you will look over the homeless during this time. Ask you, God, that you will help them find shelter, something to eat. Help us to be a blessing to one another, those that are less fortunate during these crazy temperatures that are unbearable. And that's going on all across our country, oh God. Let us be used by you to help others. We ask all these things in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Yo, what's good, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Let me know, as usual, what platform you guys are watching on. If you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on YouTube, either or. Today, we on the pre-show announcement, I announced that we're going to be talking a little bit about MLK. Um, don't plan on being on too long. Trying to get my spirits up a little bit. Been watching some different things for a future show that really vexed my spirit as I was getting ready to getting prepared for this tonight. So I want to play a song in honor of Dr. King as we get before we get ready to open up tonight's show. So you guys come on in. And let me know if you guys can hear it as well. Thanks, Fever. And good evening as well. Sopranos. We shall overcome someday. So that's what I kind of wanted to get into a conversation with you all to see if you guys feel the same way. We know about the civil rights movement. We know about the historical aspects of being black, African American, Negro, colored, all those different words that have changed over the course of different years. Um, do we actually believe that we can overcome, like the I Have a Dream speech? Um, we're all pretty familiar with the I Have a Dream speech. We learned it in school. We've seen it time and time again as adults and throughout our lives. So I'm curious, in you guys' perspective, do you feel like we get at does the message in the "I Have a Dream" speech, is it something that's actually doable? Is it something that could come to pass? Is it achievable as African Americans or blacks, or however you refer to yourself, or identify? Is that something that's achievable for us in America, in the state that America is, and going forward? And we're gonna get into that a little bit. Well, I mentioned earlier, while you got waiting on some of you guys' comments or some of you guys' take on that. I told you I was doing a little research for a future show, and it kind of vexed my spirit. So that's why I'm not as jokey as I normally are. As you know, it was the show that I want to do is well, what we're going to do. I'm not sure when, but we're going to do a show based on. I've been hearing for years now how a lot of these Great Lakes and throughout our country in different parks, they're sitting on top of what once was what once was black communities and black cities, and finding this information out, like it really bothered me just hearing these different stories of how black people were self-sufficient economically. We had our grocery stores, we had our banks, we were carpenters, we worked the fields for ourselves, blacksmiths, all these different countries. I mean, I'm sorry, cities and communities were thriving and keeping our money within our community. And because of racism in America, they decided to flood half of these cities and communities to build lakes. There's a great tourist spot now. I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it, in South Carolina that was over that they flooded out a city called Oscarville that was predominantly us. Different cities in Alabama and New York's very own Central Park was once a thriving black community, and they stole all the land in eminent domain to create Central Park. What's good, Marty? Um, so that bothers me, but again, I want you guys to do your own research on that as well, because I want to do due diligence and really talk about these things and find out how it came to be and how we're able to pull this off in this country when you got people that was there and just displaced 15, 20,000, 40,000 people all at once for profit and for other different reasons. But that's like crazy to me. But yeah, so how do you guys feel about the whole I Have a Dream? Like, do we feel like that's a that's is achievable in America? What do you think, Toshiba? I'm curious to know how you be typing when you be watching on YouTube too. How do you get to type the comments? Because I got an unpopular opinion. I would say, or my take would be unpopular. I only had 2 points that I kind of wanted to get into on tonight concerning the MLK, but in honor of MLK, there's a comment box at the bottom. So you're watching on a computer, not your television. That's what I was wondering, pretty much. Like when people be watching on a YouTube channel from their television, how are you able to comment? But if you're on a laptop, I understand that. Yeah, but for me, it's an unpopular take. Okay, on the phone. Okay, got you. Um, I guess I'll start. I'll start as people are coming in and while you guys are typing. Um, it's again in honor of Dr. King. That's why I'm dressed in my old civil rights suit and tie tonight. I figured I'd go basic black like they used to do when they marched and different things of that nature. Um, but I go back to, for me personally, I go back to the 50s and the 60s. And I'm not sure that, and this is just my personal belief, this is just my personal thing, but I'm not sure that we as black people really benefited or have we benefited from integration. I'm kind of a fan of segregation. And that's based off of, like I said, I seen different things of how we would thrive and throughout the different histories. And years ago, I seen right here in North Carolina where they burnt down Wilmington. It's a great documentary. If you guys haven't checked it out, I would encourage you to try to watch it. It's called Wilmington on Fire. Um, Wilmington was thriving, black owned hospital, newspaper, grocery stores, banks, you name it. We were self sufficient as a people economically, and white folk wanted the land, and they pretty much burned people out of their houses and took over the land. And you know about Black Wall Street, or people are starting to learn more and more about Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Um, so to my point, it's definitely doable. And I'm the type of person that people often ask me, growing up in Jersey and being down here in the South for almost 20 years now, you know, like, well, what's the difference in racism? If racism is everywhere, would you say is the major difference in racism? And again, everybody has different outlooks, everybody has different takes, because it's a sensitive subject sometimes. But for me, I prefer northern racism than southern racism because in my own personal experience is I would like to think that racism up north is more uh you should know better than to come back over here, and it's the only one you're gonna get. Cool. If you let me know where we stand at, I have no problem with never coming back here again. You ain't got to worry about that. I'm big on I don't like to spend my money nowhere that is not wanted. You know what I mean? I go to a regular restaurant. If I'm getting bad service or you act like you got an attitude or you just I get up and go somewhere else. I leave you tip and I go and get up and go somewhere else because I don't have to spend my money where it's not wanted. Or you act like I'm doing you a favor or you doing me a favor when you're really not. Um, so in that same token, in my personal experiences, like it seems like when you talking about the South though, and not necessarily what we consider down south on the East Coast, but the South, the real South, the Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, all these different places. And here too as well, Georgia and our East Coast down south. But it's like it seems more like racism here is more phony so to speak. These are the same people they have you over for dinner, but as soon as you leave, they throwing the dishes away because they want to be quick to say, "Well, I can't look at me as racist. Racist. I've had someone black in my home." You know what I mean? And I would rather you let me know up front that you don't want to chill with me. And I look at it from the same way. That's why I said I will be more for segregation than I would integration. Because when I think about it, and I plan on going this weekend to visit for the first time the Woolworth here in Greensboro, North Carolina, where the Greensboro Four they sat in all those many years ago, and they sat in, they got abused and stuff thrown on them, and I'm quite sure beaten, not just them four, but all across the South, where these people were trying to integrate and have the right to eat at these white establishments. And again, and it could be the times that we living in, so I don't have the same mentality that I may have had back in those days. But why would I want to spend my money in a Woolworths that don't want me in there? Why can't we create our own mom and pop shops to where we could shop with us and keep our money in our community? I would much rather prefer that. Now, having said that, I do believe that I don't have no problem with it being optional. I don't believe that it has to be either or, either integration or segregation. And I look at it all along the lines of the same way as gay rights, right? We living in an era now where you got to be careful what you say. You don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Everybody's super sensitive, and they quick to cancel you and all these different things here. But to my point, what I wrote down earlier when I was thinking about this is what I was just jotting down so I didn't forget to mention it. But in the same token, as an American citizen, I believe in gay rights and that people should be free to live whatever lifestyle they so choose. But a lot of people don't want it forced down their throat either, so to speak. I believe that segregation should be optional and that same and integration should in the same token, I don't think that segregation should be I think segregation should be optional and that integration shouldn't be forced upon us. I don't want to eat, let alone sleep in a white establishment knowing that they don't like me or want me there. But it's okay to give them my money. And that's the thing that bothers me. Hey, what's good, Jew? I would much rather, I was watching Life the other day, and Life is one of my favorites. But that saying, with the, hey, Billy, can we get 2 slices of pies? And his response is, how did you know my name? Just as dumb as he could possibly be. How did you know my name? And Claude says, well, it's right there on your shirt. It's written right there on your shirt. And the lady behind the counter goes, well, if you can read so good, how did you just miss that sign that say no colors allowed? And they go back and forth. Well, how much is going to take one of those white only pies to be a Negro pie? And she put out the shotgun on them. And these are the same type places, because of laws have changed. Doesn't mean the ideology or the mindset has changed. And that's problematic for me. Like, how many places do we shop? How many places do we go into on a daily basis where they go home and they vent and really don't want us to be a part of their lives, a part of their culture? They don't want us to be in the same, breathing the same air as them. But because of the laws and because it's so profitable, it's so profitable. That's one thing about black people. Black people, we gonna spend some money. We definitely gonna spend money. So they don't want to shut that down. That's how you got the Walmarts. That's how you got the Targets. That's how you get the Best Buys, and so forth and so on. Because even though they don't want to necessarily have anything to do with us, they have no problem. Only color that really matters when it comes down to it is green. So they have no problem taking your money. And I don't really like that. I would like it if it was, like I said, if it was more optional, or for us to be able to pick and choose. Like I would rather live in a black city where we're winning. And I love going to visit my cousin up in PG County. I was just telling somebody the other day, I said if I did leave North Carolina, don't plan on it anytime soon, but if I did leave North Carolina, that's one place that I would definitely consider moving, because it's like PG County is beautiful. One, all you see is blacks everywhere, and we winning there. It's like Atlanta too. Atlanta too, a little bit too overcrowded for me, and I don't want to deal with the traffic. I love Jersey. I do not want to deal with Atlanta traffic on a daily basis. But I just love, it's something about PG County that I really love. I love the atmosphere. I love the communities. I love when I go out, just the feel of it. And don't get me wrong, you're gonna always have your good things and your bad things. That's what comes with any neighborhood, that comes with any city or any area for that matter. That's why they got the local news at night. No matter what city you live in America, when you watch the 10 o'clock news at night or the 11 o'clock news on the East Coast, you're gonna see crazy, crazy stories. Sad stories and all that there. So, violence, robbery, uh, murder, it all happens everywhere. But I would really like to see us winning as far as that. Um, I still don't see any comments about what you guys take. But having said all of that, how do you guys really feel about civil rights? Do we feel like there's a civil right presence today in modern America? Do we feel like um it was crazy, and I'm not crazy, but one of the things that I was mentioning when George Floyd, even before George Floyd, you go back to Colin Kaepernick, when him taking the knee and what have you, it was like, did he really get the support from us like he should have? You know what I mean? Because considering what he was trying to symbolize and what he was trying to stand for, so to speak, by taking a knee. Um, did he have support? Did he feel like he was allowed out there alone by himself? When Martin Luther King, they they when he marched, you had thousands of people out here marching with him. When Malcolm went to speak, it was hundreds and thousands of people there. Megas Evers, Fred Hampton, Chairman Fred Hampton, W. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, all these different people, they had all these different followings, but it seemed like Cat was pretty much out there by himself. Then we got the George Floyd, and we had all the marches and the that there, but are we still having marches on for equality and stopping police brutality on George Floyd's anniversary of his death or on his birthday? It seemed like now that we're 4 years removed, it just seems like everything is kind of halted. Like, so how do you guys feel about that? Do you guys feel like we have a modern day civil rights movement? Come on, people. Y'all know this is a discussion. This is not a what is it called? Citation, or it's not a me just being verbal, spitting my ideas out there or my thoughts. Or any questions out there. If you don't want to make a statement, any questions. Because I kind of wanted to hear some of you guys take on, like I said, on the pre-show announcement. What does Martin Luther King, as a man, what does he represent to you? Um, as an individual, what does he represent to you? How do you feel about MLK Day as being a national holiday nowadays? Um, you know, in the state of Black America, do y'all believe that I Have a Dream is profitable? Not profitable, but Is it achievable? Why? Potter said no. Not sure. No to what? Um, yeah, but like, is the "I Have a Dream" speech, is it really achievable? Is it just a dream, as the title says, or is it something that actually could happen, where we could coincide in America as black, as white, as Latino, as Asians, as all of whatever ethnic group that's out there? Can we all coincide together in racial harmony? Is that possible in America? Waiting on some of you guys. And Jew, what do you think too, Jew? Like, what is the racial component, or what are some of the things that you guys struggle with down there where you at? Or is it pretty much the same like America? Or what would you say the difference is down there than what we deal with here? I would think that it's more of a class thing down there, but I have no idea. That's why I'm asking. All right, so we're gonna be able to wrap up short tonight. No, because it will always be people are taught these things. It's the same, bro. The East Indians think just like white people. Wow. Okay. Thanks for that. And one of the things that Martin Luther King said that always stuck with me and resonated with me, because I would never, um, I would definitely never speak bad about Dr. King, particularly on this show or around his birthday in honor of his holidays and stuff. I'll say that for next month, Black History Month, on my personal thoughts toward him. But one of the things that he did say that I always liked was, an atrocity anywhere is an atrocity everywhere. Um, and that's one reason I would really encourage you guys, people, especially people that believe in the power of prayer, to really learn more about what's going on as far as this whole Gaza Israel war, because it's something that happens. It's like I said, it's something just because we don't have the information or the knowledge of something, or it doesn't affect us directly, doesn't mean that there's not atrocities going all across this world. Ones that we know about, ones that we don't know about, some that we will never know about. That's why I believe that it's important to have prayer lives and have a relationship with the Almighty, so that we can, through the Holy Spirit, we can, ooh, excuse me, learn how to pray some of these for some of these different areas, because everybody needs prayer, and sometimes we don't know what to pray for. That's what the scripture tells us. Men ought to always pray, but it says sometimes we don't know what to pray for. That's why we need to be led by the Spirit on what it is that we should be praying for. Um, Marky said no civil rights movement. Do you? Let me ask you this, Mark. Do you think that we need one? If we don't have a civil rights movement right now, do you feel like we should have one? And that's not just for Marky. That's whoever want to answer or share their take. And I was kind of glad to see as well that they're doing a movie. I believe it's a movie on Baynard Rustin. He's somebody I've been telling people about since I discovered or learned about him, maybe for about 15 years ago. But Baynard Rustin was one of the one. He was the one that actually put the march on Washington together and played a part, somewhat of a part in writing "I Have a Dream" speech. But the problem was at the time, the reason nobody's ever heard of him or why he was behind the scene because he was a black man during this era and he was gay as well. So he couldn't be free to be who he was in that day and age for numerous reasons. What leaders do we have today to take up like back in the days? We as a people all over need to get a lot straight first. We need a people movement. I like both of those answers, Jew. And Jew, to answer your question, I don't know if it was rhetorical or not, but I look at it like this. I was once told, why complain about a problem when you're not trying to be a part of the solution? And that always stuck with me. So one of the things that I used to do when I was, heavily in church, involved in church and things of that things ministering, I always share this story, and I've shared it many a times on here. How shout out to Marky, shout out to Nut, shout out to all the fellas. I don't want to start naming names. We don't do that on here. But I grew up in church, but I honestly feel like learned how to love from the streets because when I was down and out, they was the ones that was there for me. You know what I mean? When I lost my job at that, well, yo, what's good, Black? You know, yeah. What's your take on some of this, Black? Now that you in here, do we feel like we need a modern day civil rights movement? Um, but what I was saying was, when I lost my job and had a newborn baby, um, church folk knew about it. Well, the people that I went to church with knew about it, but we gonna keep you in prayer, and we hope you gonna be praying that God help you find something soon, and that your child won't have any lack and anything like that. Then I appreciate the prayers again. I just finished talking about how the power of prayer is a real thing. But it was my boys on the street. Hey, listen, man, baby, little man, good. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I mean, is he good? Because if I got to go out here, do what I got to do to make sure you got the Similac bread, milk, something to eat. Just say the word. And to me, that was more than you saying, more than them saying that they love me. That was them showing me how they felt about me. Anytime you willing to go out here and do whatever to make sure I got something to feed my kid. Whereas the church, you would think that the church would be the first people to try to help you out in situations like that there. But without beyond just praying for you. But I learned how to love from the street. So I've always I've brought that up because I was saying, even when it came to church, we've always heard that. I don't know what the situation is there, Jew, but so many times we always was like how the lack of men, particularly black men in church. And yet we got all these sisters in here, we got all these kids in here, but where are the black men? You know what I mean? So what I started to do for me personally, like I said, if you're not going to be a part of the solution, why complain about the problem? I was like, you know what? It's not a lot of when I was growing up in church, we had our brother Johnsons and we had our brother Washington and brother this one here and that there, who we respected or we seen him coming, we went the other way because he was gonna get on us and he was gonna straighten us up and don't you be give me that gun. You know better than chewing gum in the church. Straighten them seats out and all that. It was a level of respect that they commanded. And it seems like the modern day church is far and few in between that we see these different role models, so to speak, within the church. So I started, even though that's not me by nature, because I'm really not a people person. God has helped me over the years to become a people person. My brother Black, we when I first got here, we met. I think we went like 2 years seeing each other every day while our sons was at football practice before we ever had a conversation with him, with one another. Now he's literally like my only family outside of my family in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? But one of my few family without people I consider family, not just friends. You know what I mean? But that's one of the things that he did. Yo, man, we need to get out here and coach. He's still out here coaching, doing his thing, and yo, man, we need to be there for these young kids and things of that nature there. So I was glad he did that. And I started doing the same thing in church. You know what I mean? Started spending more time with the young fellas in church. You know what I mean? Just trying to be an example of what a godly man looks like and being a positive role model for him because I felt that there was a lack of it. So to add what I was saying, Drew, is if we have a lack of leadership, so to speak, why don't we get ourselves together and we start the movement? Why don't we want to be the ones to get out there on the front lines and put the work in if it really bothers us that bad, so to speak? Um, you don't never. I don't think that you could actually. You play sports, Drew. You can't. You could coach all you want to. Uh, I tried to be the part of the solution with FAV, and that's the thing, man. Hey, you try, what I'm saying? You try again, you try to regroup. Just never stop. You know what I mean? Do your part. And that's all that really matters. You know what I mean? What's good, Nicole? As long as you're doing your part, that's what really matters. That's good, man. Why can't we get out there and do it? Yo, what's good, Warren? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Man, I seen your son the other day, man. It was crazy, yo, man. We getting up there. I tell people I don't say getting older. We just getting experience, but it's crazy to see how me and your boys at a little age, not even double digit grade school. They still in elementary and middle, and now college, and just crazy. It's crazy, man. So big ups on that. But you another one, man. Like why don't we pick up this mantle ourselves and like you said, Drew, I think it starts with organization. We definitely got to get more organized, bro. For real, time flying. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Um, we got to get organized. We got to see the problem and then attack it head on. Now, it's change won't come overnight, nah, but I guarantee you, we'll go to sleep feeling better each and every night, knowing that we really tried to do something different today. Everybody was up and roar about the Cat Williams um, on Club Shay Shay last week. But one of the things that he said that stuck out with me, and I kind of was like, I'm kind of feeling that when he was saying, if we get into the place where we will live each day like it's our last day, you know what I mean? Meaning when we go to bed before we say our prayers and everything else, we left everything out there because we're not promised tomorrow. We know that. One thing I always say is I don't even say that we're not. No one's promised tomorrow. I say no one's promised this afternoon. No one is promised midnight at right now, going on 9 o'clock this evening. You know what I mean? So has Marvin done everything possible within my power to make a change in this world, in my own little small community, in my job, amongst my friends, amongst my family, that I do everything that I possibly could do today to make a change or make a difference. Um, and I believe that if we adapt this mentality, trying to do our best to do something in service of others, not just ourselves, each and every day, I do believe that we could get there. I really do. Even if we can't get there, we definitely get to a better place than where we are now, in my opinion. I do believe that is beneficial and profitable. They nowadays you don't even have music programs in school like we did when we were coming up. Warren, you got your album. You don't have albums. You know what I mean? You're a musician. Hey, young fellas, let's learn how to. Y'all want to learn how to engineer. You want to learn how to be a producer. Different things of that nature. There, you know what I mean? Like we could do everything that we want to do in our own little way. Um, yes, organization is key. Have a meeting, look at where the needs are, and decide where to start. The issue is with continuing counting on pastors. Most of them don't have that mission. They are mostly totally church focused. Yeah, I totally agree with that, Warren. And that's always been a problem for me, especially like I said, growing up in church, because I've always felt, and this is not Nobody else. This is just me sharing my opinion. Mark said we got to stop being crabs in a barrel. Yeah, and that's the key, Mark. Just stop it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna pull you back, hold you back. I'm gonna support you in what you do, just like y'all. Y'all support me in watching the show. You know what I mean? This ain't something that I get paid to do. I don't have any endorsements. I don't have that there. So a lot of the things I'll be glad when people do send me a little cash app or a little $2 here, a little $5 here because it helps. Y'all see the graphics now that I've upgraded my laptop and things of that nature here don't have the echo and all this other kind of stuff. So it's definitely appreciative because if you guys don't help me, I'm trying to do all of this out of my pockets. So I do appreciate any amount that people do cash at me and they donate to the show to make the show better because I really believe in this. Um, it was just a joking post that I made in 2019. If I start a show, would y'all really want to hear me talk or get people on and have different conversations? And people, I was surprised because I was really just joking, and people was like, "Yeah, we'll check that out. We'll check that out." And now here it is. We 3 months away from 4 years, y'all. That's crazy. Like we've been doing it, we've been going strong. Y'all been rocking with me for almost 4 years now, and I'm so humbled by it. But like you say, man, it's just a matter of just getting out there doing it. But what I was saying about you, what your statement was, Warren, that always bothered me from yeah, it was. Hey, what's good, T? Yeah, that's it's crazy. I'm telling you, June 9th, 2024 will be 4 years. The very first Marvin Bennett Jr. show aired June 9th, 2020. Um, the same day as George Floyd's homegoing service. Um, but yeah, that's one of the problems that I do have with the church overall. Not a particular church, but with the church overall is um one, and this, like I said, this isn't just my personal opinion. What's good, Dane? Is that one, churches become big business. There's no doubt about that. You can't debate with me about that. Church is big business nowadays, right? Problem with that is I yo, what's good, Big Fly? The problem with that is though, because in my personal opinion, I feel like churches' main purpose is supposed to be about winning souls first, that growing the kingdom, helping people become spiritually aware. I believe that churches should be spiritual hospitals where people that all have it together. You don't. No one goes to the hospital because they wake up feeling good today. You go to the hospital and get a physical. You go to the hospital when something is wrong. So I feel like churches should be the same way when it comes to spirituality. You go to the church because you don't have it all together, because you don't feel right, and there should be something at that local assembly that God has there for you to help you grow and help you get better spiritually. That's first and foremost. But then when we look at the life of Christ and being Christians, we're supposed to be followers of Christ, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that that's what the word Christian means. One of Jesus' big things was outreach ministry. So to your point, Warren, where is the lack of outreach ministry? We're steady trying to grow our churches and make sure we got members and make sure that we got the lighting and we doing YouTube streams and we doing all this here and that there. But what are we really doing as far as giving back to the community? What are we doing as far as bringing people in? What are we doing as far as trying to partner up with cities to make sure that we get these homeless shelters built? Um, like I was just saying in my opening prayer, it's not that we're just struggling here in North Carolina. Everybody right now is struggling all across the country with these crazy temperatures this week right here. Um, so I would encourage everybody while you out doing out the day, grab an extra value meal or extra sandwich while you on lunch or whatever the case may be. And if you find somebody that's homeless out there, give them something to eat because it's crazy out there. I suppose I was watching the weather report early before I got ready to get my stuff ready for tomorrow. I think it's supposed to be almost 16, 15 degrees in the morning when I leave for work. That's crazy, and that's just here in Memphis where my brother is. I was watching that news last night, and they said it was 4 degrees there yesterday. So we really got to try to be there, be more community involved in it. You don't have to be a Christian like that. You don't have to have a title, none of that. Jesus was souls and then community. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I said. You know what I mean? It's all about winning souls first and then outreach ministry. Not how many I just want to see. I want to get back to us being what the church is supposed to be. That's my take on that. If we all stood on each other's shoulders, you know how far we could go. Absolutely, I do believe that 100%. Um, just like you said, growing the community. You know, those that are here in Durham, North Carolina, or Raleigh, North Carolina, or the surrounding areas. Tanya, she got Savannah Hands. She has a beauty salon. Warren, I'm not sure if you're still doing the printing or not, whatever the case may be. Somebody need programs, identifications, whatever the case may be. Hey, hit him up. Dan, he's a musician. You need a musician? Call him up. Um, what do you think the church is supposed to be? What do you think the church is supposed to be? Exactly that. I just said that. I don't know if you would probably want in here yet, but my personal opinion, I think that the church is supposed to be a spiritual hospital. It's supposed to be where people go because they're struggling. Whether you're struggling in your marriage, whether you're struggling financially, whether you're struggling with addiction, whether you're struggling with whatever it is that you're struggling, I feel like you're supposed to go to the church. Now, having said that, I do believe that you have to have qualified people in these churches when people do come in to help them. You need psychiatrists, you need therapists, because sometimes these pastors, sometimes the elders, sometimes the brothers and sisters in the church that you might go to get some help, they might be just as jacked up as you. And I don't need to really be hearing what you think I should do if you ain't heard from God. That's very, very key, and that's very, very important. Don't just send me this. Don't just stick me with anybody because they're in the church. I need to know that this person has background and what it is that they're talking about. Drew said, if you look at some Muslims, they go out and apply their beliefs in the community, and that's good. The Christians can do the same and go out in the community also because we're supposed to. Everyone in the church comes out of the world, but we have forgotten that. Same goes to the Muslim, Hindus, whoever. We have lost focus. Absolutely, Drew. There you go, right there. And I believe that sums up your question too, Danny. Um, and I'm not bigging up the Muslims, but we. It's like I always say, like I said at your house the Saturday, D. Happy born day again. But we got to be first partakers of the words that we preach. You know what I mean? I can't tell you to go out here and get involved in the community, and all you see every time you see me, I'm online playing Call of Duty or something else. You feel what I'm saying? We need to be first partakers of the words of the songs that we sing and the preach and the words that we preach. And rest in peace to Bishop Beverly, the ministry that I came up under. He said he one thing that he always preached was the best sermon you could ever be, the best sermon you could ever preach is the life that you live. The best sermon that you could ever preach is the life that you live in front of people. Because that's gonna go better than any, that's gonna go farther than any words you could ever say, any scriptures that you could ever say, how good you could do runs and how good you could hoop and all that stuff there. The way you live, are you living the life that you're talking about? Are you living the life that you're trying to convince people that they should aim for and strive for? I think that that's very, very key. We got to be first partakers. Um, let me see. Okay, yeah. Let's work on that. You know what I mean? We've identified half of the problem or some of the problems, but now what do we do with the information that we have? Do we become, like I said, like the Colin Kaepernick, where that builds up? Do we become like the George Floyd movement, where the marches they dry up? You know what I mean? Things of that nature. There, actions speak louder than words. He's right. Absolutely, we know they do. Because how many times have I said it on this show here? And that's one of the things that I'm glad God gave me this years ago. I said, but I say it and I share with people from time to time, but people don't really care what you know until they know that you care. And that's something that I've learned over the years, and the older that I get, I learned that to be so very true. And I thank God every time, every day when I think about it, like I thank God for Him giving me that. Because when I started thinking about it, I was like, yeah, it sounds good. You know, it's a good play on words and all that. But I was like, no, that's like really so true. People do not care what you know until they know that you care. And I think about that, especially I learned that particularly when I started coaching youth football. You know what I mean? I had to figure out how to learn how to interact with these young men. You know what I mean? And then once they knew that I cared about them, now so you know what? Hey yo, hey y'all chill out, man. Coach Marv trying to talk to us, yo. He trying to help us win. He ain't got to be out here. You know what I'm saying? I seen where they would standoffish at first, like, why should we listen to you? To now, you know, the leaders on the team, hey, y'all get it together, yo. This ain't time to play like, yo, Coach Marv try out here to help us. Coach Black gonna try to help us, yo. Hey, can we spend the night at your house, coach? You know what I'm saying? Can we come over your house and watch film and all these different things here? So once they saw, and these are children, we're not even talking about adults, we're talking about young men. So how much more does that mean to adults? People don't care what you know. You can know the dictionary inside out. Cat was talking about how he read over 3,000 books a year for from 8 to 12. Okay. Until I know that you care. And he has shown people that he cares because they talked about how generous he is and all those different things there. But my point is just people really don't care what you know until they know that you care. And I think that that's something that we could work on ourselves in our daily lives, period. Whether it be in the workplace, whether it be with our family, whether it be with our kids, whether it be with our loved ones, whatever the situation may be. That's something that we could always work on. And again, you don't need no title to do these things. It's all about simply, you know what I mean, putting your best foot forward. Y'all people, half of y'all are my family on here, and y'all hear me say this all the time. Like I can show you better than I can tell you. And when I say that, I totally mean it. If I say I ain't rocking with you, guess what? When you don't get no calls, when you don't get no texts, when you don't get no, I'm showing you that I don't rock with you. You see what I'm saying? I can show you better than I can tell you. Now, if I show up and I pop up and just sending you this quick text because I was thinking about you. You know what I'm saying? You was on my mind. You know what I mean? Just wanted to make sure you was good. Then one call. I made a couple phone calls last week. Hey, I ain't call you today to talk. Just wanted to let you know I was thinking about you. You know what I'm saying? Different things of that nature there. Because I'm big on showing you better than I tell you. Anybody could say that they love you. Anybody could say that they care. Anybody could say that they want change. But what are you doing to invoke change? What are you doing to bring about change? And that's just a rhetorical question. um, yeah, man. But what we need to do is like you said, Marky and Warren. We need to try to get a forum. We need to try to get all these different things together, and we could definitely do more shows on those different kind of topics, what have you, in the future. You know what I mean? Even if it ain't shows, you know what I mean. I got this platform. I also have Zoom set up to where if we ever want to have a meeting, you know what I mean, we can just get together and hey, listen, man. All right, so what you think that you could do in your part, or what can you bring to the table? What do you have? Because like you said, Marky, we're stronger together than we are, especially when we stand on each other's shoulders and support one another. We get much farther when we work together than we do going at it alone. And guess what? The load isn't as heavy. We don't get as tired just as quick. We don't have to exert as much energy when we're doing a team thing. You know what I mean? When we're working together and not against one another. Worried about, well, how come every time you go out there, people like you got 20 people follow you, I'll only get 3. Stop worrying about that. We on the same team. So it don't really matter. This ain't no offense. This ain't defense. This ain't them sorry Miami Dolphins. Jew. Go ahead and take a shot at you, Jew. Yeah, but let's really try to get in a schedule where we could come together and we could build. We could talk about some of these different things. That's one of the reasons why when I first moved to North Carolina, one of the ideas, and I dropped the ball on that myself. You know, one of the things that I wanted to do was I had an envision. God, I really felt like God gave it to me, but I wanted to start a community choir, right? Because there's so many people. It's not about singing in the church choir. Of course, you can't be singing in the church choir if you're not living the lifestyle to back it up. In my personal opinion, I mean, people do it all the time, but a lot of people still like to. There are a lot of people that grew up in church, or a lot of people that like gospel music, and even if you out there doing your thing, you wouldn't mind being a part of a community choir. And that's one thing that we could all do together. We could come together collectively. Um, and guess what? When you're in choir rehearsal and we out here doing different concerts and things like that, guess what? You're not out here getting in trouble. You're not out here being tempted by whatever it is that's not having you in the church choir or becoming a full-fledged member of the church. I've heard many people all the time tell me, y'all really love the Lord, but I can't do these churches. I can't do this here and that there. Okay, so what are we doing as far as getting an outlet for them so that they can feel comfortable with us and creating a safe space to where we can serve? Because a lot of these same people that have told me that at some point in time, eventually over the course of time, I have seen them join churches, and their growth and their maceration just takes over. So it's definitely doable. Hey, what's good, Ed? That's this brother right here. I known this brother since my sophomore year in high school. First dude I met in West Side. Um, he's definitely Dr. Wilson. He's definitely Principal Wilson. He's definitely one that I'm quite sure if we try to get together a time, whatever, he would definitely be able to give us some good insight and help us to get organized. Being a principal, his background, he's been on the show several times, but I know he has something to contribute, and that's what it's all about, man. All us coming together, putting our best foot forward, and trying to evoke change. I do believe that we might not ever get there where we consider to be there, but we definitely can invoke change. And I do honestly, wholeheartedly believe that in our own little ways. So, let's be mindful of that. Something I want all y'all to think about. And if y'all really interested, DM me, hit me up, text me, call me, whatever. Hey, Marv, hey, I like what you was talking about, man. I don't know how we gonna get it started, but that's another thing that I've learned in life. Everything starts with a conversation. Like when you really think about it, everything starts with a conversation. You got to put thoughts in. That's exactly what we talking about actions and stuff like that. There, thoughts that you have to yourself, they don't become reality till you speak them out loud and you have a conversation, whether it's with yourself or someone else. Now those different thoughts can become reality. They don't have to be dreams. They don't have to be ideas. Now they can be things. They can be tangible. Now they can become nouns. And I do believe that. Not only do I believe that, I know that. So let's really think about the different things that we want to see as far as changing. There's a lot of we got a lot of teachers out here. We got a lot of fathers out here. You know what I mean? And then we still having young men out here getting these young girls pregnant, whatever the case may be. We can pull them over the side like, yo, bro, come on, man. But now that you're here, you got to face up to your responsibility. Now let me help yourself by holding you accountable, right? These are some of the things you gotta cut out of your life because you're not a child anymore. You still may be young, you still may be a child yourself, but you're bringing a whole another life in this world. Being that I've been there before, how about you let me help you so that you could be the best father that you could be. So your child don't feel like how you may feel about your dad, right? It's definitely, it just takes us putting our best foot forward, man. So we're gonna get ready to get out of here. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all. We're gonna be back next week. Again, I hope everybody had a good holiday. I do believe that is a beautiful thing that they fought for as long as they did. And now it's not just a holiday, but it's a national holiday. And I got paid double time today because I had to work today. So I love that about it too. um, but yeah, shout out to everybody else, man. We getting ready to come up on Black History Month, and I want to do different themes on Black History um, throughout the month of February, but not just Black History Month, throughout all our shows. Period. But I definitely want you guys to do your due diligence so we could all have a good conversation about that. What I was talking about earlier, and I'm glad. See, that's one thing I like about the show too, man. And you guys give me energy, and I feed off you guys because, like I said, I really didn't want to do the show tonight after watching what I was watching earlier. Like my spirit was really vexed. It was really vexed, and I'm not trying to bring you guys down, but I do want you guys to do the same due diligence so that we could talk about this on future shows. But the topic I was talking about was how a lot of these Great Lakes in different places in America, they're built on top of, they were created because they flooded out black cities. And some of the parks, Seneca Village there in New York was a black little town, which is now part of Central Park. So a lot of these different lakes and a lot of these big parks that we have here are built on once was thriving black communities. And it was just sad and it broke my heart to see that stuff. But I kind of want to talk about that because I remember seeing it on the episode of ATL a couple years ago. I thought it was just a joke, but it's crazy. Like, nah, this not a joke. Like, this is something that's real. Yeah, hidden history, man. So it's important for us to dig up this history, so to speak. No pun intended, but to make sure that we learn, so that if we ever get back in that position, to where we can have our own thriving communities, where we can have our own banks, where we can have our own grocery stores and be self-sufficient as far as black economics. Um, I believe that we can put ourselves in a position where we don't have to worry about that happening again. Or if it does happen again, it'll be literally over that. It'll be over our dead bodies, because we're not going out without a fight these days. Um, I've always said that. We did different shows on gun laws, and I'm not big on guns myself personally. Even though a lot of people feel like, yeah, well, look, I'm gonna have me a gun. I'm gonna protect my family, and I'm gonna protect me and mine. You come for me and mine. But at the core of me, just who I am as an individual, whether I carry a gun or not, I just feel like the more guns there are, the more gun violence there's going to be. But one of the things that I always say, we really wanted them to change these gun laws. If every black man in America nowadays, too, every black person, period, man, woman, anybody, how old you got to be to get a license, 18 or whatever, 18, 21, I think it's 18. If all of us got our gun license, I guarantee you they revisit these gun laws. I promise you they'll revisit these. I'll be willing to stake my my pension on it. If we all became certified concealed carry and all those different things, they had the different licenses. They'll change them gun laws because that's something that they're scared of. But yeah, I definitely want to do a show on that. There, the hidden history, as Drew said, about these parks and these Great Lakes. I seen where there were quite a few there in Alabama, South Carolina. I'm sure there's some here in North Carolina, but Georgia was one of the main ones as well. Forsyth County in Georgia. It used to be known as Oscarville. Um, and like I said, there's where Central Park is now at. It went from 80, the black town, Seneca Village went from 82nd Street to 89th Street, which is down Central Park on the Upper West Side. On the Upper West Side over there. So, like I said, I just want to get more information on that there. You guys maybe could help me with that, gather this information, and we could talk about it and see if we could kind of get some of these things back. Like us opened up saying, I don't believe that integration should be forced upon us. Just like I don't believe that segregation should be forced upon us. I think it should be optional. You know what I mean? If you want to coexist with one another, I believe that should be your right. I believe that we should have the right to have our own as well, because that's gonna get a lot of things changed too. When Walmart stops saying that black dollar shop with them, when we find our own gas stations where, you know what I mean, where we own and operate our own gas stations. Oh, they're gonna see what we want, because they want that money coming in. At the end of the day, they don't care about the color of your skin or the content of your character, as Martin Luther King would say. They just care about, as long as you spending your money with them. We could act like we like you. We could tolerate you. Just spend your money with us. And I want to figure out how we could get that black dollar to stay circulating within our own communities. But that's just my thing. Um, but again, as usual, I appreciate each and every one of you for taking out the time to hang out with your boy tonight for a little while. We'll be back next week. For those that are on TikTok, go over and check out Miss Cookie. She's gonna be on sometime probably next month. I'm gonna get with her for some dates, and on that whatever day I'll let you guys know. We're gonna do that on Wednesday nights. But she got Grown Folk Boulevard going on over on TikTok. So I'm about to grab me something to eat, change my clothes, and listen to some good music till I fall asleep, man. But I appreciate everybody their time. Again, shout out to everybody that celebrated their born day. Miss Willis, my cousin Jermaine, uh, Daniel, everybody that celebrated. Oh, happy anniversary to my cousins that celebrated. I'm not sure what year. I don't even want to say the wrong year, but celebrated their anniversary over the weekend as well. Um, and just shout out to everybody. Please keep one another in your prayers. Please stay warm as possible. And like I said, if nothing else, when you go get lunch for yourself tomorrow, just pick up an extra meal and try to find somebody homeless to give it to, because the rest of this week is going to be crazy throughout the rest of this country as far as this Arctic blast that's going on. So let's stay safe. Let's stay prayed up. Let's love one another. Let's communicate with one another while we still can, man, while we have the opportunity to. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't already, tell everybody you know. Check us out on the YouTube channel. Not just check us out, but please subscribe to the YouTube channel so we can get the subscription count up. So hopefully we'll be able to monetize it one day. The more people that we get on there, I already have enough content on there to be monetized. Now we just have to get the subscriptions up, and we got a long way to go. So please tell everybody that you know. Please subscribe to the Marvin Bennett Jr. Show on YouTube, and I would gladly appreciate you all. Know that I love you all, and I appreciate you all. And until next week, and usual signing off, DeAndre and Elisha, know that Daddy loves you intentionally, but I also love you unconditionally. Till next week, peace.